they're an incredible team. They've a really consistent level. Got the best manager in the world, so they have, the ingredients that they have. All of that together makes them a really, really outstanding team. And but we're really excited by it because it's a different type of game to than what we normally can play because of the level of the opponent. But we still, like we showed in the first game, it's still we can still play to a high level and be really effective in the game.
Every season leave you a lot of learnings in the same time. That is every season happen in the relation between the players, in the many things. That's why always you have to be alert and adjust something during the process, and that's why you have to adapt, adjust, and you can do it quicker and better and sometimes wiser. The quality, the players make the difference. Sergio is irreplaceable. I could say in terms of numbers, can be replaceable. It's not easy. Replaceable of the salt and the heart and the mind for our fans, for our people, for the players. I think playing alongside to him or all the manager who was with him. So, a fantastic person, a human being, and I'm pretty sure if his mind is still aggressive like he is, he can extend his career longer than maybe 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 years.
Well, there's no doubt about it. 2 of the most impressive sides in the Premier League this season, and they're going head-to-head this weekend. It should be a good game, shouldn't it, Karen?
I thought you were going to say 2 of the most impressive pundits.
And that, of course. That's why you're here. It should be a great game, shouldn't it?
Yeah, it should actually. It's a massive period for Leicester because of the FA Cup, Man City, West Ham, and then that top 4 thing. So it's a really, really busy period and a really important time for them. So they've got to come through. I think last time they played City last year, and it was a lot earlier, that's where they kind of fell apart. They played City and Liverpool in the space of a week, and that's where their kind of barren run went. They're a different side this year, so can they get in the cup final and can they stay in that top 4?
Yeah, and you say this season they're a different side. They beat Man City 5-2 earlier this season. That was an incredible match, and at that stage we hadn't really seen the City we're seeing now yet, had we, Darren? It is a different City side now.
Yeah, I mean, it was very early in the season. I think all the teams, weren't they, struggling from the truncated pre-season. Coronavirus was running riot throughout football, and there were all sorts of problems for clubs to contend with. So Leicester were able to take advantage. And the biggest aspect of this win was the fact that it was at the Etihad, where normally they're so invincible. And that's where, as Kaz was saying, the question started to come up about whether City had gone stale, whether Guardiola was going to stay or not, commit himself to a new deal, whether we'd reached the end of the cycle. And so what we've seen over the last 25 out of 26 games is the response. Wins in all of those matches, and the mentality showed to be invincible there. We can't write off Leicester. When you see the goals, you see the way they attack the game, you can see that this is going to be a fantastic football match. But I think as far as City are concerned, there's something special.
I think the big difference in that performance from City, you look at the back 4 there, it was Mendy, Garcia, Ake, Walker. So you would say, look at that back 4 now. You've mentioned completely Diaz different. And Stones, completely different, and that base now is why they've gotten that run.
Yeah, that's it. Goals win your games, but clean sheets win your championships, don't they? And there's one for you.
Go on, Kazza!
but no, it's
could
true.
Be my stats woman.
But it's true. You always build, and that's what's happening with Chelsea. They're going right. We'll be defensively solid, and we'll build on those foundations. That's the difference with City then to now. But I saw Tielemans take that penalty there, and what an absolute baller he is. He's going to be linked with probably City, no doubt. But he's an absolute player.
What about Sergio Aguero? News coming out, he's going to leave 10 years. Where does he rank in the best strikers of all time in the Premier League?
Well, obviously, sometimes we do suffer from recency bias and we forget the contributions that the likes of Shearer, Cole, Ferdinand made over the years. But I think when you look at Aguero, you get everything that you expected from him. His ability to score great goals like that one, to score close-range goals, under-pressure goals, epitomised by the winning goal in the title.
Best moment in the Premier League for lots of people.
Absolutely, gone down in Premier League history.
Here it is.
And I think it's the moment, it's the players in front of him, the composure in the final third, everything about that match under pressure. That's what you bought him for. And the number, again, I say about the numbers, I mean, they're just incredible, off the charts. I mean, you two will probably be a better place to tell me just how good those numbers are.
I never got near him.
Not did I. What a hat-tricks. What honours. What's major honours mean?
You want the League Cup, Rob. You want the League Cup.
At his first press conference, when they signed him, he actually said that he had come for a future laden with honours. And when you look at those honours, you realise that he delivered and achieved exactly what he thought he would do. And I think he leaves as a player who isn't gone off the boil or anything like that. You know, he'll go to another club and score 25 goals a season easily.
Premier League, do you think?
On the one hand, I'd be surprised, because I think that Premier League clubs tend not to give players over 30 more than a year's contract. So people talk about Chelsea, but he will only get a year there. If he were to go abroad, he'll get more than that. Having said all of that, Lampard was a Chelsea legend, and he went to City. So,
did he go abroad first though, and then went to City? Did he go?
He
went to USA,
he
didn't
went
New York.
Yeah.
to New York. Yes, he did, and then he went to City. But then New York, the New York franchise is owned by City.
Yeah.
So you know.
Where does he rank then? Where does Sergio Aguero rank in the best ever strikers in the Premier League?
I don't know. You've got Shearer, Henry.
Yeah. So where does he rank?
3.
Number 3.
I'm rating them 2 first. Well, first and
Shearer
second.
first.
Shearer first, Henry second.
So
and
does
Aguero third.
that go for the same in terms of overseas players coming to the Premier League? You'd still put Henry above him?
Yeah, but I think that's just because, for me personally, growing up, Henry made a massive impact on me, watching him. And
Thought I was your favourite player growing up as a Birmingham fan.
Of course, yes.
You hurt me now.
No, we're talking about strikers, though.
All right, go for it.
So,
nice get out.
Yeah, I think, Henry, personally, for me, because as a kid growing up, and the Invincibles and stuff like that, but you can't take nothing away from Aguero, because exactly what you said, at big moments, when you need to step up, he was always that player to do it for City, and he should have a statue because he's unbelievable.
Goals per minute average in the Premier League, better than anybody.
Yeah, absolutely.
Where's he rank for you?
I think he'd have to be at the top, only because, as I said before, he set up one of the most iconic moments in football. Yeah. In football anywhere, not just in this country.
Michael Thomas, so when it was Division 1, or Sergio Aguero? Michael Thomas, Arsenal.
Yeah, it's up for grabs now. The famous commentary of Brian Moore, of course.
That was incredible.
It was. And that was at a time when football...
We're too young for that one, Karen.
Harsh, but very fair.
Look, let's move it along, guys.
I just think that moment, that QPR moment, it was iconic. That's why it was marked.
Amazing, wasn't it?
We could sit here and reminisce about Sergio Aguero and his goals forever, but we've got to move on and talk about the game itself, because going from an amazing striker like Sergio Aguero to one of the in-form strikers right now, Leicester's Iheanacho, it's almost impossible for Brendan Rodgers to drop him, but with James Maddison potentially coming back into the team for this game,
Premier League Player of the Month.
Could he drop him, or what's the situation now?
He's the first Leicester player to win. I've done another stat.
It's good. They're good.
First one since Jamie Vardy, October 2019, to win Player of the Month.
Wow.
He scored 7 goals in his last 4 games, and he is on fire. You just couldn't drop him. It's 9 in 9 in total. And I think it's confidence. I was talking to Andy Cole about what the difference might well be between Iheanacho now and the Iheanacho who came to Leicester as one of the stars of the City Academy, but didn't quite deliver it. And he said confidence. It's taken this long for him to build his confidence. And now you look at some of his goals, and it's not so much the finish, it's the composure. It doesn't matter who's around him. It doesn't matter who's throwing themselves at him. He has that ice in his veins to be able to stick the ball away.
So if you're Brendan Rodgers, City, you know, you've been there 5-2 at the Etihad. Maddison's fit, is he? Yeah.
Hopefully, should be.
Possibly fit. Do you bring Maddison back as a 10 and play 2 up? Because in the Acho, he's been dropping as a 10 at times, but they're then going up. So are you brave against City and go the 2 up with Maddison as a 10? And then Ndidi and Tielemans if they're fit? What do you do?
Again, it goes back on how fit Maddison is. He might be fit to go out there, but is he going to play 90 minutes against Manchester City or 60 minutes at that intensity? I wouldn't play him. I'd bring him on. He'd be an impact sub for me and make a difference in that. And he's done so well in the Acho, so why would you change something? And Leicester have been doing well, so I think keep it as it is. And I think his confidence is because, as a player, if it was Vardy or him, because he's playing next to him, I think he knows I'm not going to be brought off all the time.
Yeah.
And you've got that reassurance. And because they're playing together, I think he feels a lot more safer, because that's how I would feel. And I think that's why he's kicked on.
You made a point to me as well. Maybe the best way to take City on is not to be afraid. Attack them. Attack them. So many teams set up to contain City, and they're a wonderful team. You let them express themselves, eventually they'll find a way through. Attack them.
I think where they got the best when they played at the Etihad, what they've done, they got Maddison in between the lines in the pockets, and on that half turn, and then they got 2 penalties from little runs from Vardy. Maddison was playing those balls.
That's right.
And that was the way Brendan beat them. Do you know what I mean? So, as I say, will he revert back to that? But how can you leave any actual out?
I think as you said as well.
Yeah. And not only that, but I mean, Vardy, no goal in 7 now. Now, as far as they're concerned, they will respect him, of course, but because Iheanacho is in such a wonderful vein of form, it gives their defenders, however good they are, a twin threat. What do they do? Who do they pick up? Who do they deal with? So for me, I go with both strikers, as you say, and maybe Maddison in the hole. And I think attack them. I think there is nothing to be gained by sitting back and waiting for City to pick you off.
How much credit does Brendan Rodgers deserve as well, Karen, for every time there seems to be an injury in this squad, Harvey Barnes and Maddison both getting injured around the same time, everyone thought, oh, is this the time where Leicester's form is going to start dropping off? He has the answer, he brings Iheanacho in, and he always seems to find a way. I
thought that was them. Once they'd lost both those players, and Justin as well, I thought, wow, they're going to struggle now, but credit to them. And throughout the season, they've other injuries, so Unchu, Evans, whoever it might be, then you bring in Fofana. Their recruitment's unbelievable. Everything going at that football club is the training ground, the way they play. They're adaptable, they can change formations, right backs can play left backs, vice versa. It's a credit to the manager. He's tactically astute, he makes individuals better, and he's not just done that at Leicester, he's done it at Celtic, he's done it at Liverpool. He is outstanding.
What is the ceiling for Brendan Rodgers at Leicester City? Because he said when he got the job he wants to win trophies being cups as well, FA Cup, Carabao Cup, Premier League. What is the ceiling for him at Leicester? Champions League qualification after just missed out last year, Europa League this year. Is it Champions League? Consider they can't win the Premier League again. Can they? I don't think they can. It was incredible. What is the ceiling for him?
I think we're in a golden era for Premier League titles. Liverpool will be back next season. Absolutely, and they will be competing for the title again. Chelsea will be in a hunt for it, City will as well. But outside of the title, the sky is the limit for Leicester domestically, because I think they can compete.
What about Brendan Rodgers? What's the limit for him?
From Brendan Rodgers, I think he could easily... All the things that you just mentioned a second ago in terms of the way that he's improved players, it says a lot for James Justin, for example. He's taken him from Luton and brought him to the club and turned him into a player that they're having to manage without when he's not available because he's that good.
The players love playing for him as well.
Exactly. And so I think there is no ceiling for Rodgers domestically if you take out the Premier League. I think that Leicester as a club are a good fit for him, but I worry that other bigger clubs might try and take him. Not just because of what he's done so far, but what he does for players, the discipline he instills. I'll say it, some people talk about him as a potential Spurs boss, other people talk about him as a potential Manchester United boss. That's how good he is. He has a winning mentality that he's brought from Celtic, and he's learned from the disappointments at Liverpool, where he came close to winning the title, and Leicester, as you say, when he was in pole position until the lockdown for a top 4 place, and then it all fell away. I think they'll be stronger this time around.
OK. It should be a fascinating matchup, not just between the players, but between the managers as